All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Today I got an awesome one for you. We have a new presidential candidate. We have a brand new presidential candidate, and roughly 7 people in the country know that, and fewer people than that care. It's going to be hilarious to break down this candidate's chances and whatnot. So we'll get to that. We also have John Fetterman opened up to the media about his fight with severe depression. He did a really in-depth interview where he talked about it, and I wanted to share that with you guys because, wow, I mean, I've never seen anything like this before from a public figure. And then later on in the show today, you are going to love the numbers when it comes to what Americans think of the culture war, who they think is overreaching. This poll has some surprising results. You're going to enjoy it very much. And then we also have new ratings numbers came in for CNN, and they are at an all-time historic low. So this new change, remember they came in talking tough like, no big deal, bro, but we're going to save this network. We're going to fix it. We're doing this whole brand new thing. It's going to be really popular. You wait and see. Well, since then it's been nothing, straight down. They came in, they just came, it's just immediate implosion. So anyway, we'll talk about that. All right. By the way, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We crossed that million threshold number, but now we want 1,002,000, 1,005,000, 1,010,000. Can we get to 1,500,000, 2 million, whatever. Just let's keep climbing. Let's keep growing it. So anyway, I love you guys. Thanks so much for getting us over that threshold. And remember, you could always support the show on Patreon, link in the video description box below. And you could always listen to the full audio version of the podcast on Spotify. All right, let's dive into it. So we now have a brand new presidential candidate, a guy by the name of Asa Hutchinson, or as my nickname for him is Asa. That's his nickname. From now on, we will call him Asa. So he announced his run for president on, I guess it was ABC? Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And he did an interview. We'll listen to it. I'll walk you through it, and we'll talk a little bit about this guy's record.
When I spoke to you earlier this year, you said you were thinking about running for president. Have you made a decision? Are you running?
I have made a decision. And my decision is I'm going to run for president of the United States. While the formal announcement will be later.
I'm just imagining, like, he announces this and you hear, like, a crowd erupts. Yeah, Asa Hutchinson. Women start throwing their bras on stage. He's like, I know, guys. I know.
April in Bentonville. I wanted to make clear that to you, Jonathan, I am going to be running. And the reason, as I've traveled the country for 6 months, I hear people talk about the leadership of our country, and I'm convinced that people want leaders that appeal to the best of America and not simply appeal to our worst instincts.
Literally nobody has said that to you in your entire life. You know, Asa, the leaders of this country, we need leaders who appeal to the best of us and not our worst instincts. You came up with that with your staffer roughly 17 minutes ago, just before the interview. See, this, I mean, look, this is a theme I'm sure we'll come back to a lot, but like, I find the politicians who are stuck in the 1990s and 1980s hilarious. It's like they're just a relic of an age gone by, and he doesn't realize politics has colossally changed, even though we have a half-dead guy, Joe Biden, president, the crazy reality star buffoon, Trump, who was president. We have like this insane political scenario, and he's over there acting like the year's 1987.
That inspires me when I see everyday Americans just saying, give us good leadership, give us common sense, consistent conservatism, and optimism about our great country. And
that line, give us consistent conservatism, you're going to hear him repeat that roughly 400 times. This is clearly one that he like worked out with his staff. What if we said consistent conservatism? And this thing about like they want optimism. You know what that is, right? That's a throwback to the Reagan era. Reagan was like morning in America. He was like the conservative dad figure who was very bright and sunny and rainbows and sunshine. And like that was his demeanor. Now Trump came in that era and took a wrecking ball to it. He was like, everything about this country sucks. It's terrible. The airports are falling apart. It's grotesque. I've never seen anything like it. We're like a third world country. We're like a third world country. We got a swamp. We need to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C. Man, our leaders are stupid. Man, our country is stupid. He said all things like that, and then he won. And this guy's over there like, I like apple pie and mommy and rainbows. Oh, this is going to be so fun to watch this guy. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be bloodbath, man. I think Trump might actually give him the same nickname we gave him. Trump will be on stage. Look, the whole point about Meatball Ron is who are you? Who's this person? Who let this person on stage? You look like you should be working in the staff out there. Nobody even knows who. Your family doesn't even know who you are. Why are you on stage? What's your name? Doesn't matter. Don't talk. Anyway.
Inspires me, and I believe I can be that kind of leader for the people of America.
Now, you've got a lot of experience. You've been a prosecutor, you've been a member of Congress, you've been a governor, you've been the director of the DEA. But most people outside Arkansas don't know who you are. How do you break through?
Well, a lot of hard work and good messaging, but I've spent some time in Iowa, and I love the response that I get there. And so it's still about retail politics.
Bro, you love the response you get in Iowa? Bro. Nobody knows who you are, dog. Stop playing. Look, we really are in a new age of politics where, like, you could take an Instagram influencer and they have more built-in support for president than, like, a former governor. Like, let's keep it real about the age we live in.
Many of these states. And also, this is one of the most unpredictable political environments that I've seen in my lifetime.
Facts.
And so my message of experience, of consistent conservatism, of hope for our future, and solving problems that face Americans, I think that resonates. And whenever I make the final announcement, I'll be everywhere. And I think it's a plan that can work in this environment.
He takes the exact wrong conclusion. He's like, damn, this is a crazy environment, man, which is why I think I have a shot being the least crazy person on the planet. I mean, this guy is deadpan of deadpans. And the funny thing is, like, so I don't doubt that he thinks he's like a conservative ideologue who, like, really represents those values. But what he doesn't understand is, dude, the Republican primary voters don't care at all about that. He thinks, like, what? I represent a conservative political agenda. This is supposed to be what the Republican voter is about. That's what I represent. So why wouldn't they pick me? You think they care about policy? If Donald Trump came out tomorrow and said, if you elect me again, I'm going to give everybody health care. We're going to do socialism. I, Donald Trump, will usher in a socialist takeover of the healthcare system. The Republican base would be like, woo, socialism, woo. That's what would happen. They don't care about policy, bro. All they care about is triggering the libs and the show. That's it. And this guy can't trigger the libs or put on a show. And so that's why his nickname is Asa.
And how does the indictment of Donald Trump by the Manhattan DA change this race?
Well, that adds to the unpredictability of it. And I think it's a sad day for America that we have a former president that's indicted. And so it's a great distraction. But at the same time, we can't set aside what our Constitution requires, which is electing a new leader for our country, just because we have this side controversy and criminal charges that are pending. And the American people are going to have to separate what the ideas are for our future, going to talk about border security and the economy. We have to talk about those. We have to talk about the leadership of America in the world whenever you have Russia and China taking advantage of any weakness that America shows. So we can't be sidetracked for a year and a half.
You suggested recently that if Trump were to get indicted, that he should drop out of the race. Do you believe that now that he's been indicted? Should he drop out?
Well, I do. First of all, the office is more important than any individual person. And so for the sake of the office of the presidency, I do think that's too much of a sideshow and distraction, and he needs to be able to concentrate on his due process, and there is a presumption of innocence. But the second reason is, throughout my 8 years as governor and as a political leader, I've always said that people don't have to step aside from public office if they're under investigation. But if it reaches the point of criminal charges that have to be answered, the office is always more important than a person.
And he should step aside and no longer run.
Well, he should, but at the same time, we know he's not. and there's not any constitutional requirement. And so he's going to pursue, and I understand that, but I stated my principles and belief and how I think it should be handled. But he's going to proceed on, and so he's going to be a candidate. And I think ultimately the voters are going to have to decide this.
Do you trust this process in New York? Do you think he can get a fair trial, a fair hearing in New York?
Well, the important thing is that the grand jury found probable cause. And that's the standard for any criminal charges in our society. And then the presumption of innocence follows you. And then there's a trial and the determination of guilt or innocence. That's the American system. We don't want to erode confidence in our entire criminal justice system simply because we don't like the beginning parts of the case.
There's something that's adorable about this guy running for president, clearly thinking he has a chance. Like, there's something that's sweet and innocent about that, isn't there? I mean, it's funny, we'll laugh, we'll have a good time, but, like, it's adorable. It's like he's precious. I want to pinch his cheeks and be like, oh, Asa, look at you. You're so cute, Asa. But look, the upside, I will say this, the upside of this is what? The more Republicans, so I wish it would just be Trump versus DeSantis head-to-head, so there's actually a chance of taking down Trump. Clearly, that's not going to happen. You already have Nikki Haley in now, so a bunch of others are going to announce. So since a bunch of people are going to run, what I would like to see in lieu of just a head-to-head is as many Republicans as possible that run who are willing to, like, just be like, yeah, you need to step aside, Trump, or yeah, you know, you need to do the time. Or just to call out Trump directly. Now, this guy is meek. You know, he's nebbish. He's not gonna, he doesn't have the stones to do it. But we talked the other day. It looks like Chris Christie may be planning a presidential run simply as a kamikaze mission. Simply to, like, I'm just going to get in the debates and repeatedly torch Trump to his face and actually out-bully the bully. Because there's personal beef there. Christie was going to be picked for VP, and then Kushner axed it, and then Trump stabbed Christie in the back. So now Christie's trying to get Trump back for that. And so there's a personal angle there, but I love the fact that somebody might run to just be like, you know, screw you, dude. Like, no, you're not going to out-bully us this time. I'm going to go balls to the wall right back at you. You want to come at me with whatever dirt there is on me? There's 20 times more dirt on you, and I got a list of it right here, and I'm about to hammer you over the head with it. Now, it might work. It probably won't work. Doesn't matter. I love the messiness. I love the sloppiness. I love the idea that you don't have a repeat of 2016 in the sense that everybody on stage was so impotent. They thought, like, this guy's going to collapse on his own anyway, so let's just focus on each other. And then you had little Marco and low-energy Jeb get run over by Trump, and nobody put up an inkling of a battle against him. They couldn't bully the bully. Well, now if you have a bunch of people who do bully the bully, it's great. Now, Asa's not going to bully him, but at least he's up there like, yeah, you should step aside, son. Obviously you should. Look at you. You're a mess. Look at everything that's going on. Really? You think this is good for the country? Like, no, step aside, handle your own problems, and keep it moving. But, you know, overall, though, it's just funny that he's running. It's just funny. Because the other thing is, he acts like, you know, I'm about the conservative agenda or whatever. Did he name a single policy issue in this entire thing? No, not a single one. Not a single one. So you can't be like, I'm the conservative agenda guy and then say nothing about policy. By the way, if you want, you could check out, I read his Wikipedia page earlier today. He's held a number of different positions. He's been a governor. I think he was in the House of Representatives as well. He was appointed as Undersecretary of Homeland Security for Border and Transportation Security. So he's been all over government. He was the administrator of the Drug Enforcement Administration. I mean, he's been in politics for a very, very long time. To his credit, he did actually prosecute at one point like a white supremacist organization in Arkansas, and I believe he was one of few Republican voices who actually stood up against Guantanamo Bay. Hutchinson agreed to serve on the Constitution Project's Guantanamo Task Force in 2010. So it's just, look, bottom line, he's an old school politician. Of course, there's corruption. There was a corruption scandal about him because, he's a politician in America, so he's swimming in big money. But, you know, that's all there is to this guy. Final point will be this, though. Guys, take note. Take note. Asa Hutchinson will be treated as a more serious candidate than Marianne Williamson. When Marianne Williamson, as of this moment right now that I'm talking to you guys, new poll came out. She's at 10% in the polls. She started at 4. Well, she went to 0 to 4, now to 10. That is higher than Asa Hutchinson will ever poll in his entire life in a presidential race. But Marianne Williamson will be treated less seriously than Asa Hutchinson. So take note of that, because you're going to see how biased the media is and what exactly their bias is. But this guy running should be fun, and by that I mean it should be a bloodbath. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.